So welcome everyone to the first call of 2023. This is called Perpetual Protocol Community Call number 43. And so happy New Year to everyone. It's really great to see everyone here in the new year. And on the call today, we have a slightly lighter crew. We've got Leonie. How you doing, Leonie?
Hey everybody, Happy New Year. I guess you've seen me already now. And I'm glad that you guys are with me now as well.
Excellent. And we've also got Houston. Hey Houston, how you doing?
Happy New Year again, everybody. In case you didn't hear me the first time.
I heard you. I don't think anyone else heard you though. So yeah, good to see you.
Likewise.
All right. So yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. I guess there are countries that do not celebrate New Year at this time. So if you're one of those, definitely let us know, and we'll mention your New Year at the time it arrives. I know, for example, Lunar New Year is coming up at the end of the month. So looking forward to that. All right. But yeah, it's 2023. Pretty huge year last year. So everyone's obviously excited for seeing what comes up in 2023, and people are making predictions and trying to guess what the big topics will be for 2023, as always. So yeah, what do you guys think will be big in 2023? So if you have some idea of like what you think is going to be big in 2023, let us know in the chat. You can post, links to prediction articles, or just give your own prediction of what you think is going to be a big theme in 2023. We'd love to hear what you think is going to be big. I guess just in terms of news, what we've seen people predicting, definitely ZK, like ZK related things seem to be pretty big, especially ZK rollups. Obviously, yeah, people, if you've been in our Discord, you'll see people asking about ZK, whether we're going to move to a ZK rollup over the past year, actually. So I'm expecting that to just probably get even, see more and more people asking about that. It'll be interesting. And actually in 2022, we had one team member move over to a ZK related team. So that's very exciting. So we've got a person on the inside. He's working for the Ethereum Foundation in some ZK related project. I'm not exactly sure the details of that, but it's pretty interesting. Something else that actually Leonie mentioned to me a little bit earlier is LSD. So I don't know if anyone's heard of this. Of course, we're talking about the financial instrument, not the probably better well-known LSD. So we'll be updating the meaning of LSD in the new year. So that's liquid staking derivatives. Leonie, what do you know about that?
Well, first of all, I still gotta get used to the new term LSD for liquid staking derivatives. The first one was basically Lido, I guess, which was already big last year with staked ETH. So with the Beacon chain, you could stake your ETH, but you would get staked ETH in return and could still use that. So in that sense, it's liquid because you can still use it as collateral on different protocols. And after Lido, there were a few other incumbents. I think one of the bigger ones is Rocket Pool. And then we also have Frex ETH now and Ice ETH. So there are quite many, and I'm really curious to see how that's going to develop once we have the Shanghai upgrade for Ethereum, which is scheduled, I think, like March or April this year. So yeah, I think it's going to be a big topic.
Yeah, I guess it remains to be seen whether we'll have a perp LSD or LSD perp. It should be like, so far, obviously, when you lock perp, you get VE perp, which is non-transferable. So one could assume it's possible to have like a convex type system where you have a liquid asset that is linked to your perp when it's locked in VE. So who knows? We'll see. I don't think I haven't heard any discussion of that in the team, our own team, but it's a permissionless thing. People could just build that on their own. And because we forked the Curve, the VE CRV contracts, I think it's probably a pretty simple matter to just fork Convex and launch that. Now, don't quote me on that. I have no idea actually, but I'm just guessing. Like, it seems to make sense.
think an interesting launch would be also to add one of the Ethereum staking derivatives as collateral. Would open up many options, but also no alpha here, just me putting that out.
That's been a request I've heard in the Discord, right? People have asked about that, so certainly that is a request.
Yeah, and I see in the chat somebody mentioned Cosmos, app chains, and like DYDX chain. So I think that would also probably be a big theme for 2023. And I know Optimism itself has their own sort of similar thing. I guess called OP Stack. So that should be interesting. I don't think we have any plans to really look into that yet, but I'm sure at some point in 2023 we will start looking into that sort of thing if it makes sense for us. So pretty interesting year coming up. Hopefully it'll be a little less crazy than 2022, but because it's sort of a bear market, I'm assuming it will be a little smoother, a little bit less excitement, but lots of work getting done. I know the team has got lots of plans and we're working hard. So it should be a good year. Although we do have one person in the chat predicting that 2023 will be a bull run. So we'll see. Here, if we follow the sort of traditional bull run driven by Bitcoin, we have it'll probably be 2024, but who knows? I mean, the Bitcoin drives that bull run and bear market by virtue of the Bitcoin emissions, but those are getting lower and lower. So sort of the impact it has in theory is less and less. So yeah, who knows? All right. So yeah, as always, anything we talk about on this program is not financial advice. You should always do your own research and research anything. And never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's sort of a major rule of crypto. Yeah. And a sort of important little piece of news before I start is that a partner project called Teahouse, which I mentioned a few times on this community call before, is having an AMA tomorrow, hosted by myself. So I hope to see you all there. It's at the same time as this community call. So that'd be sort of 9 a.m. Eastern, I guess 10 p.m. Sort of Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China time. So it's exactly the same time as this call tomorrow. So hopefully see you all in 24 hours for the Teahouse AMA. And we'll talk a little bit more about Teahouse during this community call. All right, so let me share my screen. All right, so yes, Happy New Year. So I'll get into the product updates. And a quick reminder, I'm sure everybody has heard already, but if you haven't done it yet, definitely go and stake your perp to start earning USDC rewards. If I'm not mistaken, we've already had 3 weeks of USDC rewards being issued, and the rewards are pretty decent. So I would definitely recommend going to check that out. Yeah, you can lock your perp and get rewards in USDC. So there's real yield revenue sharing from the protocol, which is super exciting. I know for certain I'm always excited every week when I see those rewards arriving. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. If you have any questions about it, we actually did have a couple of questions about it that we'll address later from our Discord. So if you have further questions, you can let us know during the call or come to our Discord and let us know. We're happy to hear what questions you have and see what we can do to improve the ease of use of the staking platform. So definitely let us know. And yeah, you can check out our blog post about Lazy River 2.0, which is that USDC fee sharing. So if you want to get a little more info about it, check out our blog post if you haven't already. And we're working on some new audits and just was sort of an ongoing process throughout the life of the protocol is to do regular audits, especially when new features are coming out. So we have sort of a couple of new backend features that are on the horizon that are being audited right now. So yeah, that's an ongoing process. And also, we're also discussing internally, the audit process, like the best way to do it going forward. And there's some suggestions that we open up and make it more transparent, a more transparent process. So that's something to look forward to, or to keep an eye on in the future, if you're interested in the auditing process. Next up is we are getting ready for Bedrock Testnet. So Leonie, can you tell us a bit more about what Bedrock is and what the plan is for Testnet?
Yeah, sure. So for quick context, Bedrock is an update coming to Optimism this year, and it's supposed to make it faster, cheaper, and even more secure. And to get ready for the release, Optimism is migrating the early testnet to Bedrock tomorrow on January 12th. So we're going to be migrating our testnet to Bedrock as well, but the end users, which are using the mainnet, are not affected at all. So it's basically a small FYI for anyone interested in the underlying network architecture.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a pretty major update. And yeah, it won't affect regular users right away. This is just strictly a testnet type of thing. So we'll be doing some, migrating to testnet, the Bedrock testnet. So pretty exciting. Looking forward to that sort of really major update in Optimism coming up this year. All right, so I mentioned a little earlier that we will be having an AMA with Teahouse tomorrow at the same time as this call, and we hope to see you all there. So I'll give you a little more background on Teahouse if you're not familiar with it. It's sort of a project that Perp has been working with for quite a while now, and they've been doing a lot of testing, and finally now they are ready to have a completely public, their first public vault. And the idea with Teahouse is they will come up with strategies that are run on Perp, and you can just put your funds in the vault and excuse me, put your funds in the vault, and you can benefit from those strategies. It's important to keep in mind that, as far as I'm aware, you'll have to come and get the latest details in the AMA tomorrow. But as far as I'm aware, that these are risk-on strategies, so it is possible to lose money. But so far, the testing that they've been doing, that's been only accessible to their NFT holders up to now, has been pretty profitable. So it's looking very, very optimistic, and we're really looking forward to having them open up a public vault for everybody to try out. So yeah, if you want to get more information about that, definitely come and join the call tomorrow. Yeah, it's at 2 p.m. UTC, exactly the same time as this call. And they have a really great team. In fact, you've probably seen Night Lotus, one of their core team members, hanging out in our Discord quite a bit. She's a big friend of Perp, and we really appreciate her support. And she's really great to chat with as well. So definitely come and chat with us tomorrow. Highly recommended. All right, so moving on, we've got a couple of marketing campaigns that went on at the end of last year. Leonie, can you talk us through these?
Yeah, so we had the Christmas campaign, 12 Days of Giving, and we hope it was a lot of fun for all the participants with the daily tasks and NFTs. And we have actually 4 participants who completed all the tasks, so they can claim the Winter Wonderland NFT with all the details to discover. So it is quite rare, and we know it was relatively hard to do all the tasks because some of them were time sensitive, or you needed to have Perp to vote and stuff like that. So congrats to those who managed to do all the tasks. And in total, we had over 1,000 mints, over 1,000 participants. And out of those, we had 62 winners, which were selected by a lucky draw. So if you follow the link to the winners list, you can check if you're one of them. By now, we have sent out all the prizes. So the crypto prizes like USDC and ETH were sent out directly to the wallets that were used in the campaign. For the other prizes like subscriptions and gift cards, we contacted you by email, the one you used in the campaign as well. Yeah, so if you're the winner of the Trading Light subscription, please get in touch with us because we need you to set up the account to activate the subscription. We sent an email, but we didn't hear back yet. So if you're listening to this, please reach out to us, and also anyone else. Like if you're a participant, if you're a winner, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us on Discord.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
I can go forward and also quickly chat about the DappOS trading competition. We had that in end of November already, where we hosted the trading competition together with DappOS. It's a partner, and they enable trading on Perp from different chains. I think currently they have Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. So you can access trading on Perp via their front end. I think it's perp.dappos.org. And to celebrate the launch, we hosted the trading competition, and this is just a short reminder to check and claim your prize if you participated in the campaign.
Yeah, this has got very Leone heavy community call, as was foreshadowed by the beginning of the call there. All right. Thanks so much, Leone. And can you keep going and tell us about the upcoming changes to the newsletter?
Yeah, sure. So we used to use Review for the newsletter, but thanks to Elon, I guess, it's shutting down, and we are switching to another provider. And as a subscriber, there's basically nothing you have to do. We're going to import everyone, and then you should get the newsletter as usual in 2 weeks from now. But we recommend to add our email address, marketing@perp.com, to your contacts to avoid that it ends up in the spam folder.
All right, sounds good. I'm not sure why Twitter decided exactly to get rid of their newsletter function. Maybe they thought it was a distraction. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, we'll be moving over to a new one. All right,
yeah,
and we've got
go ahead. It's quite a pity that you cannot sign up anymore directly on Twitter. That was quite nice with Review and why we decided to use it. But if you're not a subscriber yet, you can go to perp.com and then click on the newsletter icon, and that's the way to subscribe now.
Yep. All right. I guess, yeah, a little extra friction, but not too bad. All right. We've also got an interesting product stat update. Leone, can you tell us more about this one?
Yeah, sure. So during December, we saw quite low transaction costs. So we wanted to share that with a tweet that we had basically transaction costs below 10 cents for most of the time. And you can either check the Optimism dashboard. They have a June dashboard with different stats all related to optimism, or you can also go and check our clearinghouse contract. So both links are in the tweet. I just checked today, and currently we are at 13 cents. So it has gone a little bit up, I guess, because of the market picking up a bit again. But in general, it's quite low. And also curious to see how that develops with Bedrock coming.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. Optimism getting better, and definitely something we benefit from a lot on Optimism is their transaction compression. So the bigger the transaction, the more advantage really you can take of the roll up. And Perp's transactions tend to be quite large. So yeah, Optimism is a really great home for us, and we're looking forward to working with them more in the coming year. All right, so we're about ready to wrap up. The last thing we'd have is the further reading section. So once again, Leone, can I get you to talk us through this one?
Yeah, I guess the title already suggests what the article is about, but basically it looks back on the past year, which was a really crazy year, as you all know, and also gives an outlook what could be the key themes, as we talked about earlier. I mean, 2022 was really crazy with like bridge hacks, the Luna collapse, also FTX in the end, obviously. But it also shares some positive news, like Ethereum becoming deflationary. I think we also covered it in the community call once. And also it was L222, the year of optimistic rollups, basically, which was cool for us, being on Optimism, and also Arbitrum had a lot of transaction and a lot of interest. So curious to see how that evolves this year with CK coming, but also OP Stack and Bedrock. And also, especially since the trust in centralized entities kind of eroded, we've seen an uptick in interest in DEXs. So I think that's also might be a topic for 2023 as well. And then, yeah, as I said, it's going to mention 7 key themes. I'm not going to list all of them because I think it makes sense to check out the article and read a bit through the background as well and know a bit more than just me listing it down. And obviously, as always, not financial advice, just some info that we'd like to share.
Yeah, sounds great. So definitely check out that blog post. If you're looking for a review of 2023, or sorry, of 2022, and to get some insights into what we're thinking about for 2023. All right, so that wraps up the community call section. I don't know if Houston or Leonie, or Houston, if you have the link, if you want to drop the form for the NFT.
You bet. I just dropped the form in the chat pod. So that form, of course, hosts the link to our NFT for this community call. So fun little factoid, we actually just redesigned the NFT for these community calls for this year of 2023. So yeah, definitely claim this latest NFT, brand new design, and it's embedded inside that form in that link I just posted in the live chat. So if you go there, you'll see a form. It's optional to fill out, but if you do want to share your feedback, we'd love to hear it. We're always trying to get these calls better, and we want to hear your suggestions. So please fill out that form. Otherwise, you'll see the first link in the form is the link to the NFT that's hosted on Galaxy. So you can get it there, and claim it there. So I look forward to your feedback and enjoy the NFT.
Excellent. Thank you, Houston. All right. So we'll open it up to questions. If you have questions, please just post it in the YouTube chat. We'll also take a look at the Discord if you prefer to post on there. And we do have a couple of questions already. We've got Alt here ready to react to the perp, our announcement of being the first DEX on Berachain. Sadly, we have not planned to launch on Berachain yet, but I guess it's a bear market, so maybe we should think about it. Yeah, so we're really focusing on optimism at the moment. I think as we've stated quite a few times, but we always appreciate suggestions and comments, so keep them coming. Somebody asked if we'll receive an airdrop through OP or from OP through perp. I'm not aware of any. We had an airdrop last year. I'm not aware of any airdrop coming up this year. But I guess follow up with the OP community regarding airdrops. I'm not sure about that. All right. All right, so there's a question which is, what does the Teahouse NFT hold? Or maybe what they mean is, what can you do with the Teahouse NFT? So Teahouse has actually been somewhat active, pretty active, even since maybe a year ago or more. And at the very beginning, they launched an NFT campaign to sort of build up hype for their project and establish a core group of community members. So when they started having beta testing for their vaults, it was open only to NFT holders. I think that's a pretty innovative method for doing the beta testing. Basically, yeah, they create like a really strong core community. So that's a great idea that, yeah, maybe at some point in the future, if we have some sort of beta feature that we want to launch, we could try a similar strategy. It seems like a pretty fun idea. All right.
Yeah, I think I've got questions referring to the Teahouse NFT link in the chat. If you're gonna participate attend the AMA, you will get the AMA NFT of the perp shark drinking boba tea. And for that one, it's basically just enjoy the art and flex that you joined.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, Leonie, for keeping me on track. Okay, we have a question again from Aalt. How can chain infrastructure help perp push through more volume with lower latency? That's a great question. So I think Optimism so far has been a very low latency chain. We're really happy with it overall. Something that we do struggle with a little more is our UI. And in last year, we did a bunch of UI improvements, but it's always a work in progress. Like obviously, the more people that use the protocol, the more potential issues that pop up. So we're always hard at working on those. In fact, just before the call today, we had a slight issue with our UI that the dev team is working on as we speak. So yeah, we're always working on that. And some people have, like if you have issues with the UI, just let us know for sure. Either in, well, the best place to let us know would be in our Discord in the support channel. We can't always do something about it right away, but we're really happy to hear from you. And it just lets us know, like, you know, what kind of user issues are popping up, what kind of problems there are, and gives us a direction for looking into potential solutions. Sometimes it's like an internet connection issue that's pretty hard to solve, but we want to hear about these anyway, because our goal is to have this accessible to everybody to the extent possible. So appreciate all of those comments and feedback. And how the chain infrastructure can help. I think just being like a really stable, reliable place to trade is sort of the number one thing, besides obviously high liquidity. So those are sort of the main infrastructure things that we're focusing on. And in the new year also, we're planning to also focus more on more passive strategies, like the Teahouse Vault that I mentioned is a passive strategy. And the advantage of that is that you can put your funds in there and you don't have to worry about the UI working or not. Basically, those strategies bypass the UI entirely. So it should be more reliable and just a better experience overall for average users. All right, so we have a question from Ken Kaneki. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. What new products are coming on the roadmap so the perpetual protocol can generate more fees and revenues? So like I just mentioned, we're focusing this year on building and working with more partners who can roll out passive vaults. And so those vaults basically will do trading on behalf of users. This should make it a lot easier for average users, like myself included, to be able to trade on perp, which otherwise, you know, perpetual contracts are a pretty sophisticated type of instrument to trade for average people. You know, even like for me, definitely this is the case where, you know, buying and selling perps really isn't something I have time to really dig deep into and learn all the strategies and do all the research that I would need to do. And I think that's the case for most people. So we want to focus on building a better experience for those type of users. And that would be our strategy, primary strategy for increasing the fees and revenue. All right. Is time to finality important? Yet another great question from Aalt. Time to finality, I'm not sure exactly if you're referring to like optimism finality or exactly what this, I guess it could be various types of finality. Yeah, that's a really good question. And I feel like maybe it affects more like the sort of underlying blockchain layer more so than perp. Yeah, that's a pretty big question that I'm not really sure how to answer. So great question. And maybe you can come to our Discord and see if there's people who want to discuss that. I know we have some pretty smart people in the Discord, although I feel like I haven't really seen this type of question discussed a lot in DeFi, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it could be important. I know for sure, like Bitcoin, those hardcore Bitcoin maximalist types always talk about, how final is your finality, and they think that the Bitcoin has the sort of hardest finality of all. So for those types of people, it's definitely a big issue. We haven't seen, as far as I'm aware, a lot of attacks that are based on the sort of leverage issues with finality. But and hopefully we won't see any. But I guess it's always an issue for faster blockchains like Ethereum and Optimism rollup. So Audit is saying that ZK rollups have a 2-hour time to finality. Yeah, interesting. Audit, if you know a lot about it, we should have you on the call next time. We can discuss, because that sounds like an interesting topic. All right, we have another. JL is asking if Perpetual Protocol is hiring, and I'm very sad to say I think the answer is no. We did have at one point a position open for like an auditor, and that may still be open. I haven't checked for a little while. But essentially, in the bear market, we're in a bit of a hiring freeze. So I don't think we'll be doing any hiring. But if you're interested in working for us, we do have a form that you can ask for. Just come to our Discord and ask for the form to get your resume on our list. And that way, when we do start hiring, the first place we're going to go is that list and contact the people who reached out to us proactively. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Okay, Ode Almour, if you're looking for the news and you came late, well, I have good news for you. You can watch this call as a recording as soon as we're finished. So, in fact, I think you can just scroll back on YouTube and start from the beginning. Although I will warn you, we had some slight technical issues at the beginning. So you can just skip to the part where you see 3 different hosts, and that's when it starts. All right, so I don't see any other questions at the moment, but we do have another question that we had in the last few days on our Discord, it's a very good question about our VE perp system and exactly in like the fee sharing and how what some of the things mean on the UI. So there's a thing that we call locked perp, and some people are asking, okay, what is locked perp and when does it get unlocked? How does that work? Locked perp basically is the reward from Lazy River 1.0, which is just a perp reward in perp. On Lazy River 1.0, those perp rewards were liquid rewards based on the exchange fee volume. On Lazy River 2.0, it's the same amount of reward based on the fee volume, but instead of being liquid perp, it's VE perp. So let's say in Lazy River 1.0, you would have got 10 perp in a week. Now you will get 10 VE perp, which you can claim, and it's automatically added to your pool of VE perp with the same lock time as you have already. So if your VE perp lock time currently is 2 months, and you claim that locked perp reward, those perp directly go and are added to the 2 months pool. So they would unlock in 2 months. And it's also good to keep in mind that as your lock time ticks by or gets closer, that your VE perp will also reduce. So you may consider just keeping, increasing the lock time, or at least keeping it at a certain level to maintain more VE perp, because the amount of VE perp you have determines what proportion of the rewards you'll receive. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good question. And I've also, when I first got that question, I asked our design team to add a note to the interface so that you can see the info right there and understand, okay, what is this lock perp? When is the lock time? When does it get unlocked, or how? So hopefully we'll be making that change soon, and you'll be able to see it there. All right, I don't see any other questions on YouTube, so I'll just have a quick look at the Discord. or I don't see anything there either. So I think we can probably wrap it up for today. Thanks. Yeah, thanks so much to everyone for coming. Really great to have you all on this first call of 2023, and great to see our other hosts as well, Leonie and Houston. Always great to see you guys, and we'll see you again. Actually, we'll see you again tomorrow at the same time as this call for the Teahouse AMA, and then again in 2 weeks for the next community call.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.